All right, hello everybody. My name is Justin Cox, and along with my wife Chloe Cox, we are the superstar directors for the Anchored Sense Group. I am not at the beach. I just thought it was pretty cool to be at the beach or pretend to be at the beach. So that's why you can see the beach background. And plus, I forgot that you could do backgrounds on Zoom and just thought it would be pretty cool to talk about something that can seem a little bit difficult, but really is not difficult to do. And that is working the reporting tab on the workstation to help grow your business, specifically your Cincy business. And this is something we've trained on a lot, but I just want to get kind of an official one out there and plus show you guys some tips and tricks to help you save reports that actually help you identify leaders you need to work with and also see areas that you need to focus on within your own business. You know, Chloe and I now, we have a group of a little over 15,000. So the reporting tab for us is very important, which I think if you have just a small team, you know, of 10 people, the reporting tab is still very difficult because it helps you look at metrics that measure the success of how you're doing as a Cincy consultant. And that's really what it's about. You know, numbers don't lie. You hear us say that all the time. We live in an era where social media sometimes will, you think it measures success when in reality, the numbers on how you're producing measure the success. So that's why we love training on the reporting tab, because you can see a lot of people doing a lot of good things on social media, but how is their business actually doing? And so that's where you can use a reporting tab to do something called action plan calls, which we've trained on. We actually look at the numbers and look at the activities you're doing to help you be effective to get the results that you want. And we use the reporting tab for a majority of that because, like I said, it's all right there and the data's there. The reason why this reporting training is going to be a little bit different is because now I'm hiding names and all personal information on there so I can show you the screen and actually show you how to build the reports. I'm going to go all the way down with how you're identifying a potential lead consultant, all the way up to superstar director, and a couple little other reports that we have saved within our workstation so you can see that. But I think this is very important, and hopefully this helps you guys out with your business, and it can help you start saving reports that you're actually going to be able to use to recognize people and actually use the reports that help you find and identify people that you need to work with in order to coach to get them to their next level. All right, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen, and it's going to already take us to the workstation, and I have the report pulled up. Like I said, on this report that we're going to be in, you're not going to see names, emails, and phone numbers or any other kind of sensitive information due to privacy, obviously. So what I am going to be showing you guys is how to add those back to the report just so you can have the columns that you want to, because you can actually edit what columns you want on here. So just a real quick overview on how I got there. So, you know, you just click on your reporting tab when you log into your workstation. It'll take you to a dashboard. You click on View My Performance. This is going to come up. Well, it's going to be a screen with a lot of your personal kind of numbers first, but then you can click on Start Leadership Report, which shows your team, and then Start Downline Report, which shows your group. Now, you may not have a downline report yet if you don't have any directors under you, but all of those will be on the leadership report. But once you start building directors and you have directors show up under them and directors promote under there, and then they start building teams even larger, that's where the downline report will show all of your group. All right, well, we will go ahead and get started. As you can see, when you save a report, which I'm going to show you guys how to do that also, all of the saved reports are going to show up under these tabs on your reporting tab. All right, these are all the reports that we have saved for team. Now, I will say Cincy does already give you guys some saved reports. The Sensational Start, Essential to Certified, and Shooting Star and Promotions are all saved Cincy reports that they already preload into your reporting tab for you. The reports we're going to be talking about today are ones that we actually make. The downline report has some too. So the My Personal Volume by order is one that Cincy already has saved on your reporting tab for you for the group. So that should be on there for everybody that has that, those reports specifically. All right, so what I'm going to talk to you about is the reports we have saved first. So the ones that we have saved, obviously you'll see where You'll get, we send out recognition emails within our team with anybody that's not a director. We do a top 20 base rank. So that report right there is going to show us who are the top 20 sales. And I'll show you how to build that report too. That way, if you want to start recognizing those behaviors as far as top sales, you'll always hear Chloe and I say that PRV is the lifeblood of the business. Without sales, without customers, you would not have a business. So that never goes away with any title you're at Cincy. PRV is something that you just have to make sure you're always meeting new people to be potential recruits. And then those recruits you can train and lead to actually help them grow a business. So it all starts with PRV. So we're very big on recognizing PRV. We have a report with just our front line. I'll show you how to build that report so you know how it is. That way we can send our front line an email if we need to for coaching, however it is, whatever they need help with, that's a way for us to communicate with them. The ones that I'm really going to be like focusing on because I think it's important, you're going to see me build a potential lead report, a potential superstar consultant report, potential directors, potential star consultants right there. And then we also have a top 50 new recruits who's recruited the most, the top 50 within our team, top 50 active frontline. All of these are parameters I'm going to show you guys how to do today. All right, so first things first, I'm going to talk a little bit about the workstation as far as the reporting side of things. There's a lot of information on here you guys probably have not played around with. So the one thing I'm going to say is I never mess this right here where it says view group. I never mess with that. So that's one thing you will never see me change that. What I'm always going to be working with when building these reports is this additional filter option and choosing which columns I want to show up, because a lot of this information, depending on what I'm wanting to recognize or what we're wanting to focus on, some of the column, the information to provide is great, but some of it doesn't matter with what report we're looking at. All right. Let's go ahead then, and I'm going to build how we're identifying potential lead consultants. We'll start there. I just feel like that's an easy place to start. And again, remember, you won't see names, emails, consultant IDs, or phone numbers just because of privacy information. So those columns will already be on your reporting tab. Just make sure you leave them there. And then we'll go from there. Well, before we get into the lead consultant, I'm going to explain this level. I mentioned that we built a frontline report, and I'm going to show you guys how to do that through the level. So the way it works is you have level and then you have generation. You're going to see that within the reporting tab. All right. When the level is 0.1, that means they are your frontline. So any of the 0.1s are your frontline as far as that. You'll see 0.2s, they're, you're under your frontline, and then 0.3s. Now, where it gets different is generations. Generation counts as director and above. So for instance, you may have a superstar consultant that's your front line, but then somebody under them promotes to director. Well, because they're not a superstar, because they're not a director, that director under them will be your first gen until they promote. Hopefully that makes sense. So whenever you're looking at promoting to star director or superstar director, you need to have the first generation directors. That's how that works. So when pulling the report, your front line is always going to be your 0.1. The generation is going to be whoever is a director that doesn't have another director in between them under you. Hopefully that is explained correctly and that makes a lot of sense to you. So what we're going to do here for this training is I'm going to build a report that's based on how we are identifying lead consultants. So in order for you to promote to a lead consultant, you have to at least do $500 in PRV. You have to have $1,000 in GWV, and you have to have one active frontline consultant. Those are the parameters to hit lead. So what do? In my opinion, I take, and you're going to see me do this for every single title that we go through. I take 50% of what they have to hit and put it as the minimum. So when you see the post like they're on director watch or they're on star consultant watch, that's when we start watching them because they're doing the behaviors as far as hitting the numbers in order to get them close to that promotion. And that's going to help us coach them along the way to make sure they're getting to that promotion. So let's start here with the lead consultant. What we'll do here is 250 in PRV. They don't have a team yet, so no TWV. And this is all the minimum they need to hit. All right, the GWV, they need to at least have 1,000. So we're going to do 500. Active frontline, we'll go ahead and put one. just actually no, what we'll do is, because, you know, if they're working on recruiting, we need to put that at 0 as far as somebody that's looking at being a potential lead consultant, because if they're hitting numbers of a lead consultant, but they don't have an active frontline, we need to coach them on recruiting. If they're hitting the PRV and the GWV, that's great, but we need to make sure we're coaching them on recruiting at the lead level. All right. Level and generation doesn't matter because we're doing this within the team. So if it's within our team, which is the START leadership report, that's what we're building this one off of. In my opinion, depending on the way your group is and the way your team is, anything up to director needs to be a team save report. And then I do think within the group, you need to have a potential director report all the way up to superstar director. In my opinion, that's what we do. And it's helped with us because it helps us identify other up and coming leaders, especially as a superstar director, because you get paid 3 generations down. So we would like to see who's coming up, who we need to work with, probably all the way down to our 5th and 6th generation, just in case anybody falls off. We're making sure everybody has the tools they need to be successful. And then if there's a SSD in between us that has their own team, obviously we respect them and make sure that they're using, their knowledge in their team, but we still like to have it for everybody else unless there's a superstar director in between us. All right, so these are the parameters set. Now, I come over here and make sure when you go to this custom selection that you have all titles unselected. All titles will be selected when you first start trying to build on the additional filter options. So we're looking for a lead consultant. So all we're going to do is we're going to check the titles of only essential and certified, because obviously if they're a lead already, we don't want them showing up on our report. We want potential lead consultants. We want to make sure we're in the month of October. So there that is. All right, so let's run the report. All right, as you can see, it's not going to show pretty much, this is people right now. We don't have names and all that stuff, obviously, so you can add that in there. But we have a couple people right now that are hitting those parameters in order to be a lead. And we actually have a lead consultant that's promoted already. So that's awesome. We're going to be shouting them out, making sure we're shouting them out. So that's great. So basically, now what I'm going to show you is putting in the information as far as the columns that you want in there. The way we typically do it for us is we always like to make sure we know their level, their title, and their projected title has to be on there. Obviously, their name, their email, their phone number, and their sponsor name, and for the team specifically, their sponsor name and their director name. We like to make sure all that information is on there. All right. And then what we'll do is we can send them, that's when we go and we start recognizing. We'll shoot them an email or we'll shoot them a text message to say, hey, you're almost there, so on and so forth. But yeah, you can add all this information over there that you want to. There is a lot of information that you can add. It's up to you in particular on how detailed you want this report to be. We make it as easy as possible for us to reach out to these anybody who's about to promote, to make sure we're encouraging them and asking if there's anything we can do to help them. All right. Once you have all the information in there that you want, this is where you save the report, and it's going to show on the left-hand side. And how you save the report, you just click save, name it how you want to, and hit save. And then it's going to pop up over here however you want it to pop up. All right. So that's lead consultants, how you promote a lead consultant. So now, same thing. Let's go to star consultant. All right. We'll go back in here. The PRV now is not going to change. You have to have PRV of 500. Obviously, we preach 2,000, but from a promotion standpoint, we want to make sure in order for us to capture people who are potentially going to promote to another position, that we have it at 250 so we can see that they're almost there. All right. The GWV now for a star consultant, they have to have at least 2,500 in GWV. So we'll set it at 1,250. All right. For them, we're going to put the active frontline at 1. Since if they're already a lead consultant, they should already have 1 active frontline. So in order for them to get to 2, we'll make sure that it's at 2. So the active frontline, we put 1 down. All right. Now what we do here is we add just the lead consultant so we can see anybody. So let's see if anything comes up. And look at that. We have 3 people that are potentially going to hit star consultant. And that's the parameter that we saved. And now we're able to see, obviously on our report that we have over here, I'll have their name, all their information, but it's the same thing, just reaching out to them, seeing what we can do to help, coaching them in areas, and just kind of just doing soft touches. You can send them a text message, whatever it is you do to get the information you need. Anything else you want to add in there, you can do the choose visible columns, get all that information over there that you want, and then hit OK. And then also, if you want to take stuff out, you just hit that little minus button. So it's self-explanatory. Minus what you don't want in there, addition what you want in the report. All right. That's it. Save the report. You can name it, Star Consultant Watch, and there you go. It's ready to go. So now let's go to Superstar Consultant, okay? Same thing, PRV 250. The GWV for a Superstar Consultant needs to be 6,000, so we're going to set this at 3,000. Active Frontline now is where it starts to get to 3. So we'll make sure we set this at 2. All right, for the custom selection, now we'll select the Star Consultant because we want anybody who is not a Superstar Consultant and above to show up on this report. So let's see. We'll hit run report, and there's somebody that's there. So again, has the same information that's on there, shows us what they're doing, where they're lacking at, and what we can do to help them get to the next level, okay? So now that we got this information in there, we'll go to choose visible columns, add the ones that we want, take out the ones we don't want, save the report. We can save it as potential Superstar Consultant and move on to the next. All right, the next thing is a director, all right? So for director, this is where the TWV comes into play. All right. So how are we going to do this and build it? Pretty simple. We're still going to keep the PRV at 250. All right. The TWV is 2,000. So we're going to make TWV 1,000. All right. And the GWV needs to be 10,000. So we're going to set this to 5,000. And then this is where the active frontline no longer changes. We'll keep the active frontline at 3. All right. Hit run report. And we don't have anybody right now. So obviously it's still the middle of the month, so there's still time for it to go. But this is where those will show up on here. Now, one column I noticed that is not on here because it wasn't important for the other reports is the TWV. So this is where I would add the TWV column back into it. And then if you want to put it up towards the front where it shows to the front, you can do that. And sometimes the report may get a little wonky. See, it's still not up there. So then we'll just take it and we'll move it back up to where we want it to be. All right. Now TWV is right there where we want it. All right. Save the report, potential directors, hit save, and it'll show up over here on your left-hand side. All right. So that's all the way up to director. Now, one thing that the reporting tab does not do is whenever you want to promote to a star director, that's when you start having to have first generation directors under you. So the way we build our report for potential star directors and potential superstar directors is we just base it off of if they're hitting the numbers, and then that's when we'll pull them up as a potential watch, and then you can actually drill into their downline. For privacy, I can't show you that obviously, but you can drill into their downline and then you can build a report based off their downline. We've done that for a lot of our SSDs whenever they're on SSD watch, but obviously for privacy, we can't go in and actually show you how to drill into the downline. So what I'm going to do is just build it based off of the parameters that you have to do to hit a star director and superstar director. So same thing. What we'll do here is now the TWV for a star director, we're going to change to 3,000, and the GWV is going to be 15,000. And then the custom selection here, we'll have all of the superstar consultant, the director, and the director queue. We'll go ahead and select that too. The only ones that won't be selected are star and superstar director. All right, we'll hit run report. Okay, and we actually have some people that are actually hitting the numbers to do it. So that's when we'll drill into the downline to see how many first generation directors they have. And I'll show you guys actually how to pull a report to show first generation directors, just so when you go into your downlines report, you can see that. But here's the ones. What we would do is we would save the report as potential super or star directors, hit save, it will show up on the left-hand side. All right, so now first superstar director, okay? The TWV for a superstar director is 10,000, so we're gonna change this to 5,000. GWV is 80,000, so we're going to change this to 40,000. All right, and we'll hit over here. We'll make sure we have the star director selected, and we'll hit run report, and boom, we have a lot of those too that are potentially close to doing it. And we have, and then I will tell us if we have some front lines that are doing it, and then this is where I'll add in the generation too, just to see what generation they are. So I'll go down to the generation and see if there are first gen, second gen, or third gen. And then I'm going to make it to where that's going to be up towards the top. And you can see we have 2 first gens that are looking like they're going to promote the superstar director. So this is why we build those reports. Now, I showed you how to look at first generation directors. So I'm going to show you how to like drill into a downline and do that. Obviously, I'm going to do it in this way to where it's on our team to where you can't see names. So it's not actually drilling into somebody's downline who's going to promote. I'm just going to show you how to pull first generation directors under anybody. All right. So that's in the additional filter options. So this information is irrelevant when you're looking to do that. All right. This is where it's irrelevant. You just hit first generation here. Let's take all the titles off and click on director and above, and this will show you all your first gens. Okay, so we hit run report, and that shows everybody who's our first gen that's under us, and it shows everything. Okay. Oh, hold on, I need to do a max of 1, 2. Okay, so there you see that. In order to show only first gens, you have to have your minimum of 1 and your maximum at 1. Now this will show all of our first gens. Okay, so yep, as you can see, it's all first gens. So that's how you would drill in to see that. That's how you would go and do it and see it. And this would be very important for you to understand that it's the 1, 1, and you got to make sure that everything above director is selected. All right, that's how you go in and look at first gens. I already showed you how to do your frontline report. So now what I'm going to show you how to do is look at, Chloe wanted me to come on and show you guys how, how to identify, somebody who's close to hitting annual sales and annual mentor. All right. So, and I'm trying to get the dates off my head. I can look it up real quick and see the dates that annual sales and annual mentor. I should run it. I should know it like the back of my hand, but I think it's, let's just say, for instance, it's a 12-month period that you have to find this. And I don't have the dates kind of on me right now, but in order to find out if somebody is close to earning annual mentor, annual sales, what you do is, let's say it started in, I think it started April 1st of this year or May 1st of this year. We'll just say May. If it's wrong, I apologize. We can get that fixed, but you'll see the idea that I'm getting at here. So in order to select multiple months, you just do this, okay? You can go through and hold down your shift button. Hold down shift button while you're clicking, and you can highlight every month you want to. So if we're looking for somebody who's close to earning annual sales for this period, we just select the date that it starts on and the current month we're in, okay? Then you can hit run report. And then what I would always suggest doing is sorting your PRV, if it'll allow me. There we go. You click on it once and it'll sort who's the highest down to the lowest. That way we can see. And look, we've already have one person, if that's the date that it started on, that has hit annual sales already. So that's a huge achievement. That's a way to track that. Annual mentor is a lot more difficult to track. The reason why annual mentor is a lot more difficult to track is because it counts reinstatements as new recruits. So those numbers are always a little skewed, but what you could do is the same thing where you just ascend the new recruit column to see who's already got 14, and that's when you just have that conversation with that team member about what they're doing to get new recruits, and out of those new recruits, how many of them are new and how many of them are reinstatements. And guys, that's the reporting tab right there. But what I will say on this, we're always here for questions, and but this is something that can change your business if you do it and you do it consistently, whereas you're recognizing the behaviors you want to create. Like I said, social media is great and it's definitely necessary, but you can't judge a consultant's success off of how their social media looks and what they're doing on social media is in the numbers. Social media is very important to build relationships and to connect with customers and to connect with some consultants. But at the end of the day, it should be a vessel for you to grow your business and not what you do for your business. So the reporting tab is where the numbers at, and that's where you get the information you need to coach and develop leaders and to grow your team. It starts with PRV. You have to have PRV. And in my opinion, you'll always hear us preach $2,000 in PRV. That's just based off of how many people you need to come in contact with in order to get that amount to where you can show them how you can take care of them as a customer, which ultimately then they'll start following you to see the experience that Cincy gives you as far as travel, freedom, whatever it is. And then they're going to want that to where you can recruit them. Then you can train them and show them the way, and then show them this report training and show them everything else so they can be successful and accomplish their dreams. And that's why Chloe and I, we love this business. We love the lives that it impacts and the lives that it can change. And that's why we're so passionate about sharing all the information and everything that we're doing to be successful with all of you, so that you in turn can be just as successful. And I hope this report helps you guys. And I hope this training specifically helps you guys as far as building the reports that help you change behaviors in your business and recognize behaviors, and also recognize the people that actually want to take this business to the next level. I'll always recommend the book, The Energy Vampire. With direct sales, specifically sales in general, this is across all sales paths, you have to make sure you're spending time with the people that actually want it and not the people that are just trying to steal your energy. And the reports is a way for you to see that, because you can actually see the people who actually are working and not people that are saying that they're doing things, but it's actually not. And I'm not trying to come off harsh, but as a leader, you have to be able to understand that you are growing a team and you are growing a business, and the time and energy that you put into the actual ones that are doing the work, whereas the people that are trying to pour everything down. So again, I hope this is helpful. Let us know how you like it. And like I said, reach out to us if you guys need anything at all. Thanks.